You have already learned how to use the print function to display a string of characters to the user. In this video, we will see how to print a special kind of characters called escape sequences. Here's a string that is printed by the print function. What do you think is the output of this statement? Pause this video for some time and write down what you think is the output before continuing. So, you might be thinking that this is a print statement that we have already seen, and since it's just one print statement and printing one string, it's going to be printing one single line to the output. So you might be thinking that, well, what this thing was going to be outputting the following. So it's going to be printing the letter J or Joe. So this is printing some kind of an address, and then followed by a space, and then Adams, and then it's going to be printing slash, and then the N, and then 1, 2, 3, and so on. So you may think that this is what is going to be printed by this statement. Well, if this is what you are thinking, well, it's wrong. The actual output is the following. So you might be wondering, well, how come that we have 3 lines where we actually only have one single statement, and what happened to this slash n over here? So we have a slash n here, but we don't have that slash n in the output. And this is what we will explain next. To understand how the output was generated in the previous slide, you need to understand 2 key concepts first. And these are the concepts of characters and escape sequences. Characters are basically symbols, such as letters, numbers, or punctuations that represent information. So you have letters such as the letters A, B, or C, numbers such as 1, 2, 3, and so on, punctuations such as the question mark, exclamation point, you've got parentheses, brackets, and so on. In Python, you can put characters together in strings by using the double quotations or single quotations as delimiters. So for example, the string which contains the letter A is basically a string of length 1. And strings does not necessarily have to contain letters. You could have also digits and punctuation marks. So for example, the string 1, 2, 3 question mark is a string of length 4. Now, for most of the characters in Python, when you put a character in a string and you pass it to a print function, that character is displayed as it is. So for example, let's say I pass this string to a print function. What does this the print function would basically produce? So if that's your screen, the print function will produce to the output the letter A. And the same for the second string. So let's say I pass this to a print function, and what's going to be displayed in the screen is the string 1, 2, 3 question mark. Now, not all of your characters will have the same behavior. So not all the characters that will be displayed as the way they are written in the string. And those kind of characters, we call them escape sequences. So an escape sequence is a sequence of characters which is not displayed as it is in the screen. And we have already seen one example of such an escape sequence, and that is the /n character. Now the /n character is basically representing here a new line character. So in a sense, it's basically representing the enter in your keyboard. So it's kind of having the same kind of effect as the end when you're pressing enter in your keyboard. So if you're having the string ABC and then slash n, and then 1, 2, 3. And let's say you want to print this to the screen. So what happens is that you will be printing ABC first, and because, as we said, slash n is representing a new line, this means whatever comes after slash n immediately is going to be printed in a new line. So 1 will be printed, in the second line after ABC. So this is coming down here. So this is the output that will be produced by this statement. So the slash n here is not going to be printed as it is. It's going to be printing basically a new line, or it's going to be moving the output or moving the cursor to the next line. Now the backslash here, this is called an escape character, because it usually comes or starts what we call the escape sequence. This table over here shows the most common used escape sequences in Python. So we've already seen how the slash n works. So this is basically moves the cursor to the next line. Slash t, as we will see in the next example, moves the cursor to the next tab stop. Now in Python, the tab stop is usually 8 spaces. Now the first tab stop usually starts in the first position, and then the next tab stop would be at 9, and then 15, 17, and then the next one is 25, and so on. So each 8 spaces can be considered as a single tab. If you want to print a backslash, you will use a double backslash. So if you do the following, so print 2 backslashes, this will display only one single backslash. And if you are delimiting your string with double quotations and you want to print a double quotes, so let's say that you are printing, and let's use a different color here. So let's say you're printing, you want to print a single quotation. What you would do is you use backslash single quotations, and don't forget your print function as well, and that's going to be printing only double quotations. And the same thing with single quotes. So if a string is delimited by single quotations and you use backslash single quote, that's only going to be printing a single quote. Now these are not all the escape sequences in Python. You can look at this link over here for more examples of escape sequences, or for the other escape sequences in Python. So let's see a concrete example to understand how does escape sequences work. So here is 2 print statements, or here are 2 statements for function calls of the print function. And think of these squares in here as or each square in here represents a position that can hold only a single character in your screen. So the first letter here, which is S, is going to be printed in the first box over here. Second position will be filled with T. Third position will be filled with A, and then N, D, I, N, G. And then after the word standing, we have the escape sequence /n. So as we have seen, /n basically means move the cursor to the next line. So the I, which comes after the /n or the \n, is going to be printed in a new line. So the I will be printed down here, and then n will be printed here. Then we have a space, and then T, H, E. Then we have a space, and then a small s, H, O, U, L, D, E, R, and then S. And then what do we have? We have /n or \n. So what's going to happen? We're going to be moving to a new line. So right now the cursor is sitting down here at this box over here. Now, one of the things that you should have realized by now is that the print function end your string with a trailing new line. So actually, every time you call the print function to print some string, once you finish printing the string, what does the print function do? It prints a new line. So we have one new line from here, and we have another new line coming from the print function itself. So now the cursor is going to be moving from here, and it will move down to here. So the O in the second print will be printed in the fourth line, and then you have the F. And now we come down to the /t. Now remember, /t basically means print or move the cursor to the next tab stop. To do that, what we'll do, let's number these boxes over here. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So as we have mentioned in the previous slide, that each 8 positions represent a tab. So that's the first tab, and that is the second tab. So /t basically moves the cursor to the next tab stop. So this is the first tab stop, so which we are currently printing at, and the next tab stop starts at position 9. So the T, which is right here, is going to be printed at position 9, and then H, and then E, then we have a space, and then we print G, R, E, A, T, and then of course, as we said, the print function basically will print a trailing new line, and we're gonna move from here, and the cursor will be sitting down here, and that's going to be the output generated by these two lines. So you should notice how the /n works in the middle, and you should also be familiar with how the /n works when at the end of the print function. So if you have the /n at the end of the print function, usually you get this empty, you get an empty line in between the lines that you are printing. And the /t, as we have mentioned, it basically skips a tab, or it moves the cursor to the next tab stop. Let's look at one more example in order to to make sure that we understand how this thing works. So let's number the positions again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So again, we start printing the E. So E, V, E, R, and then Y. And then we have /t. So this is basically says move to the next tab stop. So next tab stop is at 9. So D is printed here, and then double O, and then R, space, and then N, and then double E, D, and S. Again, we finished the print. A trailing end of line should be after you finish so after the print function prints a trailing or has a trailing end of line, so the next printing will be in a new line, which is down here. Okay, so first we start with an A. After an A we have a space, and then we come down here. Now remember backslash double quotation, and we have a double quotations as delimiters. So this thing prints only one. So backslash double quotation. So this is an escape sequence which prints double quotes, and then we have the word the word frame, and then again backslash double quotations which prints a double quotes to the output, and then we have the end of the string, and that's the output that we get from these two statements. So you should now know how to recognize an escape sequence and how the escape sequence comes out if you use it inside a string and you print that string using the print function.